You are obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
A lie. No man is obsolete.
You have no function, Mr. Wordsworth. You're an anachronism, like a ghost from another time.
I am nothing more than a reminder to you that you cannot destroy truth by burning pages.
You're a bug, Mr. Wordsworth, a crawling insect, an ugly, misformed little creature who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
Words, Mr. Wordsworth, that have no substance and no dimension, like air, like the wind.
I don't care. I tell you, I don't care. I'm a human being. I exist. And if I speak one thought aloud, that thought lives, even after I'm shoveled into my grave.
Delusions, Mr. Wordsworth. Delusions that you inject into your veins to make you think you have a strength when you have no strength at all. You have nothing but spindly limbs and a dream, and the state has no use for your kind.
Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. It's Alex Jones.
We're back live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in the first 30 minutes of the next hour, I'm going to get back into this top story. We're going to read through some of the Obama administration advisors and officials saying back in July, we need a big terror attack by a domestic group or by Muslims, or the threat of one, as a pretext to clamp down on the American people and to have folks basically worship Obama and see him as strong. And Michael Savage has even come out and said he believes that the Obama people may stage false flags. So it's not just Alex Jones talking about this. We have these very individuals out in the open getting to all of this. And we have this ABC News report, Utah residents fear Israeli art students prying into NSA data center. And they're reporting that they keep coming to people's doors in and around the new facility, saying they're art students, trying to sell them art, but then asking them if they know about the NSA facility. And that's because then if somebody says, yeah, I work there, or my husband does, they can pump them for info or even pay them. That's how on-the-ground infiltration works. And right before 9/11, and it gets into the AP and Salon articles about this, there were all these Israeli art students penetrating the DEA offices, the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, and other law enforcement agencies. This is out of Raw Story, but it's local ABC News affiliate ABC4 with Brent Hunsaker reporting on it. And then we have this report that a listener pointed out of a regular coal-powered plant. Effingham deputies call feds after arresting Russians with shovel wire cutters outside Georgia power plant, and we've got this up on prisonplanet.tv, their mugshots. If you scroll down, you can see these guys. I mean, they look like Special Forces spy types. They do not look like your regular tourist. I mean, they've got spook written all over them. Just look at those eyes. Just look at these guys, young Special Forces types. And the feds ordered them released. And same thing with the Israelis in other cases. But speaking of that, here's the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. Pennsylvania Homeland Security Chief quits. And we're going to be discussing that now with State Representative from Pennsylvania, Daryl Metcalfe, who's organized a Second Amendment rally, Tea Party, lower tax rallies. They got surveilled by this Israeli company that admits they're Mossad connected. They were paid $125,000 to spy on his group. And they've now had state Homeland Security hearings on this, and the head of Homeland Security, a former federal Homeland Security individual with the U.S. Special Forces, has resigned over this, and there's criminal investigations, civil investigations. The media is reporting. Again, Pennsylvania Homeland Security Chief quits. Here's another one. Second Amendment group made terror threat list in Pennsylvania. Cranberry lawmaker asked why his rallies made terror list. That's Daryl Metcalfe. House to vote on Stand Your Ground gun bill today. We'll also get his take on that interesting Second Amendment legislation in Pennsylvania. But remember, this is going on all over the country. And it's not just Israelis. It's British. It's others. And this country's wide open for foreigners to come in and spy on us. But if you, as a citizen, spied on people like this, you'd be arrested for wiretapping. Daryl Metcalfe is recognized by the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette as Pennsylvania's General Assembly's #1 conservative and multi-time highest-ranking lawmaker on the Pennsylvania Liberty Index. He also heads up state legislators for legalimmigration.com. He's the founder, and he joins us. He represents District 12. Good to have you here with us again, sir.
Good to be with you again, Alex. Thanks for having me today.
Well, a lot has happened. Recap what originally was discovered, what you've since discovered in the hearings, and where all of this is going.
Right. It came out some time back that this Institute of Terrorism Research and Response that admits on their website connections with Israeli defense, that they were actually contracted by the Pennsylvania Homeland Security and were issuing bulletins regarding events that were taking place or planned around the state of Pennsylvania. As that information became public and more and more details were made available, we became aware that a couple of the rallies that I organized, both for Second Amendment and also for taxpayers to voice their concerns about increased spending and increased taxes in the state of Pennsylvania, were two events that were listed in these bulletins that they were looking at as far as elevating the possible chance of having some terrorist activity occurring. So when this became evident and became reported on more and more, the Senate called for hearings out of their Senate Veterans Affairs Emergency Preparedness Committee. Senator Baker chaired that hearing last Monday, and I have one of my staff at the hearing. I live about 4 hours from Harrisburg. I wasn't at the hearing in the morning on Monday before our session started, but I had one of my staff there, and it was very evident from the testimony that was given from the Pennsylvania State Police, the director of the Homeland Security here in Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania State Homeland Security Department, and also our PEMA, the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Association, that there was conflicting testimony given. The state police seemed to strongly disagree with information that was being put forth by the director of our Homeland Security here in Pennsylvania at that time and by PEMA, that they, in fact, had told the governor's office that they were on top of any dangers to Pennsylvanians. And during that time, Director Powers moved forward with contracting this Israeli-connected company, the Institute of Terrorism Research and Response. They tried to claim that the state police said they didn't have the resources to take care of dealing with those types of threats that would be notified through this institute. The state police disagreed with that testimony. So, as things percolated through the week last week, I had sent a letter the week prior asking a series of questions to the director of our Homeland Security in Pennsylvania as to what was done with this information. Was surveillance launched on the rallies that I had participated in and had organized, actually? Were wiretaps initiated? If so, by on whom? Were any of the people involved with working with me on these rallies a target of their surveillance? Was I a target of their surveillance? We've since that time worked with our legal counsel to draft right to know request that will be filed this week, and our Homeland Security director here in Pennsylvania announced his resignation last Friday. The governor of Pennsylvania seems to still stand by the director of that department, even though he claims he wasn't standing by these bulletins or the contracting of this company. But if he, in fact, didn't agree with this, he should have fired the director instead of letting the director weasel out of his role here by resigning last week. I think there's still questions that have to be answered by PEMA. There's still questions that should be investigated by our Attorney General and by the state police regarding what was done here that infringed upon the rights of law-abiding citizens in Pennsylvania.